welcome Rashmi ma'am. Welcome ma'am. Welcome ma'am here.
And can you hear me?
Yes ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes,
so first of all, I thank you for inviting me to this meet, and Mr. Charles for apprising us for all about NEP 2020 higher education, and Mrs. Sumitra. Now, everything has more or less said, but unless and until, what I feel, unless and until we begin the spree of this education, whatever the policy, then only the reality we are going to face. And if we are, as ma'am said, if we are going to embrace it, we have to do in spirit, letter, and a total intent, spirit, and in letter. We have to give our full whole and soul for it, that yes, we are going to imbibe it and we are going to embrace it. And as you know, I have been headmistress and principal in schools, so I would be speaking from the school point of view. Now, as ma'am said, that rote learning was into it, that learning is best and we have to this. Now the strategy have to be developed by the schools itself, because if flexibility is being introduced, then obviously rote learning is going to go away, and more of collaborative learning, inquiry-based learning, critical thinking, analysis, and all these things are going to come in. And for these, I think we need more time. So the government in NEP, they have decided that we would be curtailing syllabus also. The curriculum would be curtailed and syllabus in the school would go down. So that we have ample time in the classroom to adjust and to take away whatever we have been, whatever the government wants. This is inquiry-based learning. The main agenda would be how to suffice the parents, how to make them understand, because parent till date, those parents, those who want and all these things, they think that rote learning is the best part of it, because they are not just, or they are just giving their heart and soul and of hangama, and what kind of you can say sweating the teachers were doing, the parents were doing. So all the stakeholders have to be brought to the forefront, excuse me, and they have to we have to make them understand. So for all these things, I think we have to have lots and lots of workshops, teachers training, parents meet all the time, the board, new model board exam would also be there. Get a holistic learning experience. NEP also recommends adoption of art integrated model that incorporates fine and performing arts, culture and heritage of India in the teaching learning process to bring fun, joy and creativity, and also imbibe India's ethos in the learners. So for these things, obviously, the syllabus have to be curtailed. And I'm going to keep it short. I know, Meena, you're short of time. So cognizant of the fact that sports integration positively impacts the psychological and cognitive achievements of the learner. NEP 2020 strongly recommends it expounding two major benefits. that we have to incorporate sports in our curriculum. And but there are so many schools all over India, and we know that not all are not so blessed. So sports have to be incorporated, because firstly, integration of sports will develop in the learners the value of responsibility, discipline, and self-regulation, collaboration, and citizenship. And secondly, it will help learners adopt fitness as a lifelong value, attitude, and be a part of the Fit India movement. So we have to be fit, and these things have to be, inculcated and set in the minds of the parents. We have to actually make them understand that performing art, theaters, and all these things, and plus sports, etc., everything is very, very important for the growth of the children. As I told you, that I will be mainly speaking for the stakeholders. So I think I have to speak a lot, but I think we are short of time. So if anybody has got anything to ask about NEP, they can ask me. We have Parak also performing assessment, analysis of knowledge for holistic development. All these things, so many communities and so many everything, communities and body coming for our help, but it would certainly take some time. So we have to walk that extra mile and make that extra effort. So I repeat, we have to walk that extra mile and make that extra effort to have this NEP implemented successfully in our country. And we have to go by it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Thank you very much. Next we have, hello. Yes, ma'am. Actually, your connection was weak. Internet connection was weak. So many times it was coming a blurry image and the speech was not clear.
Okay.
But anyhow, we got it through. Anyhow, we got your point of view. Thank you very much for the session.
It is coming, and I'll tell my, right now it is of Airtel only. I'm going to call him right now, because even bandwidth low, it was coming.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next we have Ganesh sir. Ganesh sir is an exam officer. So we have seen the changes in the NEP, and educationists have shared their views about the recommendations. Since you work closely with the exams, so we would like to know how will be the exam after the implementation of NEP?
Yeah.
How will be the assessment, sir?
Yeah. Good evening and namaste to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay. So I first apologize and take permission from Miss Meena that if time is getting extended, she would spare me for.
No, sir, you can continue.
Okay, okay, fine. So good evening, everyone, and good evening to my fellow panelists, and also thank you, Mr. Shaklin and Ms. Meena, for giving this wonderful opportunity to all the educationists across the country and also even outside India. I think this is one policy which the whole country debated for more than several hours, then debated in the Indian Parliament in both upper houses, both the upper house and the lower house of the Parliament. So without any further delay, I think I can take you through my little presentation I have. Let me, I think the host has disabled the participant screen sharing. I would like to share my presentation. Will I be given a chance for that?
Just a minute, sir.
Most of the points have been already been touched upon by Dr. Maria Charles and Madam Suchitra, and they covered most of the aspects of this NEP policy, and also a fewer insights were given by Madam Ms. Rashmi. So I take you directly to the overview of some positives. There has been significant changes in the structure of schooling. This is a very welcomeable move. And there is also a change in structure of school exams, both internal assessment and common exams. And this would help also the school to monitor the quality. Okay, and there is also proposed changes to increase flexibility and choice of subjects, especially when it comes to choice of subjects in secondary school, and changes in pedagogy, which is very important, and it's being more learner-centric than teacher-centric or curriculum-centric. And we have some standardized entrance test for universities, which I would be covering in the coming slides. So I was asked to speak more about assignments. So I would like to touch upon a few areas before I move on to the assessment part, since I, as a teacher, wholeheartedly welcome the NEP policy, and also as an exams officer working for the Cambridge board, I do welcome a lot of changes being implemented in NEP. And here, the NEP also emphasizes more on changes to teachers' qualification, emphasis on teachers' training, and also continuous professional development. We as teachers, are we really qualified to work as a teacher in an educational institution? Are we really doing a fair justice to our community? The community means the whole community, the community of kids, the community of parents whom we are who are the real stakeholders of this education system. And it also focuses on the overall holistic development of the child, which also focus on the physical, social, emotional, cognitive, and value and ethics. This is what even Dr. Maria Callas emphasized in his previous presentation. And this curriculum, which is recommended by NEP, also gives importance to cultural language through experiential and immersive learning. Earlier, the learning was happening. It was not much experiential. Gone are those days. Now kids are more trying to become tech savvy. The good part is that this NEP got introduced during the period when everyone is immersed completely into the blended learning approach or the online learning culture. And many parallels seen with the international boards of education and school education system in developed nations, including US, UK, and Europe. This is something to deal with higher education, which Dr. Maria Callas has already emphasized. So I'm not going to take much of time on that. So a lot of changes which came into, which has been proposed in school education system, as Mrs. Suchitra mentioned, like name change of ministry from human resource to a Ministry of Education, which is a welcomeable move, and every government would have a separate body to operate education. So also Indian government had, but it was operating under human resource. Now preschool age or foundational year brought into the ambit of schooling. So now schools can work with diverse age groups and also can bring in some kind of age cutoff right from the toddlers group until the senior kindergarten stage, and change to 5+3+3+ format in schooling years from 10+2 format, corresponding to 3 to 8, 11 to 14, and 14 to 18 years, which would become a holistic growth for a child, and curriculum to be conceptual and competency based, not heavy on content. See, these are some of the positive changes which we should actually embrace. That's what Ms. Suchitra also mentioned in her previous in her previous talk. And let me take you to the flexible part of this NEP 2020, the vocational subject, introduction of vocational subject, which is being considered as a mandatory component for grades 6 to 8, and increased flexibility and choice from grades 9 to 12. This is what making India to go higher up in the ladder. The reason is many foreign curriculum. See, I hail from Cambridge board, where we give kids to choose their subjects from grades 9. We don't enforce something like you have to choose only English, you have to choose only mathematics, you have to choose only languages, you have to choose only social sciences. And there is with no hard separation of co-curricular, curricular, and extracurricular or vocational subject streams. So we have diverse subject groups, and kids can choose according to their need. What am I going to focus? Am I going to focus in liberal arts? Am I going to branch out to Indian history? Am I going to work it with architecture? Okay, and there is also flexibility in board exams, which is a very welcomeable move. And here is where my assessment part I would emphasize, like even in our Indian boards, if do they have 3 or more series for taking exams, it would largely benefit the kids, especially the learners. And when it comes for teacher education, that 50 hours of continuous professional development, which is a really welcomeable move. And without being a trained teacher, a teacher would not be able to what you say, incorporate teacher pedagogy in a teaching learning activity. And it could be based on prior qualification. The prior qualification is what we call it as the BSc or MSc, which we hold as degree. And positive changes in assessment. This is what Ms. Meena has asked me to speak, so I'll quickly take you through this. Assessments are meant of, for, and as learning will be aligned with learning outcomes. Most of us, we do not worry about the learning outcomes. We just focus on the assessments and scoring great marks with 90s and A stars and getting 7 out of 7 in IBDP, whatnot. Like we are not people with that mentality that our children are getting the outcome of their learning. Okay, and the positive changes in the assessment, it includes self and peer assessment. Okay, have I understood my concept? Have I understood the knowledge which I have to gain? Can I be assessed by my peer? What is the hesitation in doing so? So these are something like a divergent thinker would look at. And all school students will take school examinations in grades 3, 5, and 8, which will be conducted by appropriate authority. So recently, when NEP was introduced, it did bring a few changes, especially with grades 5 and 8 board exams being conducted. I hail from Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu was about to introduce grades 5 and 8 board exams. The process was on, but due to lack of support from the parents and also opposition from many educators across the state, that got banned. Okay, so why do the schools have to go for school examination, especially in these are like some checkpoint years for the kids at at the mid of my middle primary years. Where have I been? At the end of my primary year, where I've been? At the end of my lower secondary year, where I have been? And this will also be able to give a proper monitoring and improving school systems. And these assessments would also test achievement of basic learning outcomes through assessment of core concepts and knowledge from the national and local curricula, along with relevant higher order skills and application of knowledge in real life situations. See, most of us, we don't connect our knowledge and understanding with real life. If you ask me to unwind a grinder and operate how the motor is functioning, because I wasn't taught in that way. Rather, I would try to teach my kids. I would rather give them that experiential learning than that rote memorization. These are some of the positive changes which were given in the NEP 2020 and the National Assessment Center, which was told by Ms. Suchitra and as well as by the Parat, the committee, performance assessment review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. It has to be set up. It will assess the 21st century skill. What are we talking about? We are in the 21st century. Are our kids really having all the 21st century skills? Is what that should be the crux of the entire NEP 2020. And when it comes for university admission, CBSE is no longer holding the testing authority. It has been handed over to a very well organized agency called National Testing Agency, which is now offering all the CBSE based or all the national entrance examinations like NEET and also the next, which is going to come in another 1 or 2 years for the medicine graduates who are going to finish their graduation after 5 years or so. So what are these, what is the role of this National Testing Agency? It's going to give you a high quality aptitude test. You may be good and sound in your knowledge. You may be good and sound in your theoretical skill, but how good are you in your aptitude? It is what is being emphasized by, it's going to be tested by this National Testing Agency, and it will cover subjects in sciences, humanities, languages, arts, and vocational subjects. What not? When we are tested aptitudely by these many streams, we shouldn't look for anything else. Then I do welcome a few more positive points, like education should be holistic and experiential. This is what NEP also emphasizing, and it was rightly said by my previous panelists. And curriculum content will be reduced in each subject to its core essentials, and it will be more of knowledge, more than knowledge base. It would be of getting the outcomes, and it is more of learner-centric pedagogy. What are we talking about? Learner-centric. The pedagogy which deals, which actually looks for the holistic growth of the entire learner. If you give me a student to me at the end of 12th grade or even at the end of 10th grade, what am I giving him out of me, and how am I sending him out of the school, is what we are all looking at. And 360-degree descriptive report cards to be given. It's a very wonderful and excellent move. I would recommend. And greater choice and flexibility of choosing, which I have already spoken about. And what could be reviewed is what I am looking at now, like examinations in the point of competitions and Olympiads will be conducted in various subjects with clear progression from school to local to state to national levels, and exams at the end of grades 3, 4, and 5 to only mentor performance of schools to ensure standards of basic literacy, numeracy, and foundational skills. My concerns are only these. The reason is, will our parents and schools really understand in this way, or it will give more stress to them? Now, already many coaching centers are flourishing in every nook and corner of our country for the NEET exam, IIT, main, advanced, whatnot. And so, hence, these competitive exams which are coming in place would make more and more coaching centers. And will schools be teaching them to test, or schools will be giving a holistic student to the community?
So, sorry for interrupting you in between, but
Yes,
we are running short of time. Sorry for interrupting in between, and I'm very thankful you for sharing such valuable thoughts about the assessments and the recommendations that are made in the National Education Policy. Thank you very much, sir. We will be looking forward to gain more insights from you in our next webinars. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Ms. Nina.
Okay, sir. Next, we have Mr. Nikesh. Sir, you can stop sharing your screen.
Sir, please stop sharing your screen. Yeah, thank you.
I'm doing that.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Nikesh.
Okay,
good evening, sir. Welcome here.
Thank you.
Sir, you as the founder director of Mount Sinai Mission School. So just sorry for that I'm asking you for lesser time, but just let us know what
I can understand, ma'am. I will take only less time because already my co-panelists have shared so many things that I have already prepared.
Yes, sir.
So I will just give an outline and I will stop. I know, yes, I am aware about it.
Sir, it would be more beneficial for us if you let us know, is there any changes that need to be made in this school in administration or infrastructure?
No, before we go in, yeah, that's what I'm focusing on.
Yes, sir, sure.
Two points I will share, and I will, the challenges the school management is facing.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you know.
So your video is not there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. No.
Okay. Cool. Is it visible now, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm going to focus today. We have, two types of schools in India: private schools and the government schools. And my fellow panelists, they have explained well about new education policy 2020. So I'm not going to, show you the points that they have already mentioned. Few things we need to, as like Maria sir also explained about the fund, about that's a major cause, because now we are facing this C-19, COVID-19 pandemic, and this is an uncertain that we are not sure when the school is going to reopen. So in that time, and we have seen in newspaper, in social media, they're selling their schools. The first thing, when you compare with the population, we don't have enough schools in India. Have enough teachers, and the infrastructure in India is not up level that what we from the Europeans. Like bearing our policy with other country, we should not forget the infrastructure, the platforms are different. When we are comparing India as a developing country with the infrastructure or education system of a developed country, it's a vast difference we see there. So few points I wanted to mention.
I think some connection issues happened. Hello, Mr. Nikesh? Hello. I guess some connection issues happened with him. Am I audible to all the panelists?
Yes, yes, Miss Meena.
Oh, I thought it happened with me. No, it happened with him. Okay, thank you very much all the panelists for coming here. I guess some connection issues happened with Mr. Nikesh, so we are not able to get him now. I would like to thank all my panelists for coming here and giving us the important insights on National Education Policy 2020. Thank you very much, and I would like to hear more from you guys because this session was very short to understand the NEP. Again, thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you. Ganesh sir, Sushant sir, Ganesh sir, Nikesh sir, Rashmi ma'am, Suchitra ma'am, and Charles sir. Thank you very much for coming to the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shaklain and the entire team. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Have a very good evening.